just quickly bring up my routine so that I remember how I wanted to start you guys off this morning. So first, make sure that you have a chair that doesn't have arms on it. You can use a folded chair. You can use your dining room chair in future routines when you choose to use folded chairs. But today we're just going to use a dining room chair, a nice solid chair that isn't going to go anywhere. So first, let me let the cat into the bedroom. I'm reminded every time I teach yoga that this is real life. And in real life, the cats are coming through the room. Sometimes the dog barks. Sometimes a family member walks across the camera. But for the most part, we have peace. Okay, so I want you to sit all the way back in your chair. Pull your shoulders back and leave your hands sitting on your lap. If your feet are able to touch the floor, you can see mine kind of don't. But have your feet as squarely on the floor as you can get them because you want to be grounded. Oops, I don't have my headpieces in. Hold on a minute. Okay, let me make sure that I am connected to the computer and not my phone. There's always something for me to be thinking about that I forget about. Yeah, my AirPods are connected to my phone. All righty.
Okay, sorry about that, everybody. It would be very frustrating if I conducted the whole class and you couldn't hear it. Okay, so pulling your shoulders back and down, sit all the way back in your chair. Ground your feet on the floor, close your eyes. And just start getting into your breathing. Breathing in and out of your nose. Expanding and then contracting the belly. Bringing rich oxygen into the body. Waking yourself up on this July morning. Gratitude that we are healthy. Gratitude that we have this platform where I can bring yoga to you in the mornings. Gratitude that we can start off the day with breath, with movement, with a little bit of moving meditation. The niyama that we are teaching this week is Santosha. Santosha means contentment. And we achieve contentment when we are able to find pleasure in daily activities, when we are able to be grounded in the present, when we are able to find joy. Gently flutter your eyes open and go ahead and move forward to the beginning of your chair. And the reason I say this is the majority of the yoga we're going to be doing will be seating on the front of the chair. If your chair is kind of hard and you find it difficult that's understandable. So you can get a cushion if you need to. I have one over there. So go ahead and bring your shoulders up and bring them back down. Sit as tall as you can in your chair, moving a little bit into the back body plane. Engage your side muscles, engage your core muscles. Rise your chest up to the ceiling, keeping your shoulders back and down, away from the ears. Let's do some neck rolls. And while you're doing your neck rolls, really pay attention to what your shoulders are doing. Are your shoulders creeping up while you're doing your neck rolls, or do you have to remind yourself to pull them back and pull them down? When we have more space that we've created from the crown of our head to the bottoms of the tips of our shoulder blades, we free up the neck to be able to move without inhibition. Inhale. Exhale your chin down and then rotate to the right. Rotate to the left. Keep on going. Inhale and then exhale when you reach the back. Inhale to the right side. Exhale as you go to the left. And then one more inhale, right to the back. Exhale back down to the front. Let's reverse that. Inhale to the left. Exhale to the right and down. Inhale to the left. Exhale to the right and down. Inhale to the left. Exhale to the right and down. And one more inhale to the left. And then exhale to the right and down. Inhale, return to neutral. Inhale, bring the shoulders up the front and then back down the back. We are doing shoulder rolls. Keep your hands in one place. Inhale your shoulders up and back, down. Inhale, up and back, down. Inhale, up and back, and down. Let's reverse that. Inhale, back and up, and then down to the front. Inhale, back and up. Exhale, forward and down. Inhale, back and up. Exhale, forward and down. Place your left hand, which will in your view appear to be the right. Take your right hand and scoop it over to the left alongside your ear, and then peel back your right shoulder, creating a beautiful stretch, Ardha Chandrasana, which means half moon pose, from your right hip all along up the right side, up the right rib cage. You can turn your head to the right if you choose. And just reach as far as you can. Inhale. Exhale, reach your hand. Inhale, pull that shoulder back, rotating your chest upward. Inhale, reach your hand. Exhale, place your right hand back down on the chair. Take your left hand, scoop it out to the side and overhead alongside your ear, curving your body to the right. Inhale. Exhale, reach your hand as far as you can, increasing that stretch. Inhale, pull your right shoulder back. Exhale, reach that hand. Exhale, pull that shoulder back. Inhale, reach that hand. Exhale, place that hand back down. Let's do some cat-cows. So we're doing cat-cows from a seated position. Place your hands either on your hips or on top of your thighs. On top of the thighs might actually be better. Inhale your shoulders up and pull them back down. Inhale your chest forward and push your hips back. And then exhale, curl your back. Pull your chin to your chest. Pull your back as far to the back of the chair as you can as you scoop your tailbone. Inhale, pull your chest through. Tilt your tailbone down. Exhale, curl the back in the opposite direction, tilting the tailbone forward and up, chin to the chest. Inhale, pulling your hips back, pulling your shoulders back, shining your heart center all the way through. Exhale, pull your back towards the back of the chair, tucking your chin to your chest. Inhale, pull your chest through, tilting your pelvis, your pelvis bowl up. And then exhale, return to neutral. Place your hands out to the side and let's do a little bit of hand circles. Reverse those. Arm circles rather, not hand circles. Did I say hand circles? I didn't mean to say hand circles. All righty. Take your arm, your right arm, pull it across your chest, left hand at the elbow, stretching, stretching, stretching. A nice, gorgeous stretch all on the outside of the right shoulder. Lift your arm up into the air, bend your elbow and pat your back with your right hand. And take your left hand and just gently pull your elbow back to get a stretch along the back of your arm. Release that gently. Both hands down. Take your left arm, drape it across the front of your body. Take your right hand to the elbow and pull your arm towards your chest to increase that stretch along the outside of the left shoulder. Raise your hand up into the air, pat your back, and go ahead and gently use your right hand to pull your arm backwards slightly as you pat your back with your left hand, stretching out those muscles all along the underside of your left arm. Very nice. Go ahead and place your hands down. Now we're going to begin some half sun salutations while seating. Today's routine is going to be a combination of seating and standing. So after we're done with the seated portion in the beginning, I am going to turn my chair so that you can see the orientation of my movements from the front of my mat here. I have this wonderful mat. It's circular, so it allows me to turn in any direction that works for the viewer. So have your legs parallel to the front. Your feet are firmly planted on the floor. Inhale your hands up into the air. Maintaining space, pulling the crown of the head to the top of the room. Pull your hands down on the exhale. Inhale your hands up. Exhale your hands down. Inhale your hands up, widen your collarbones, pulling your shoulders back and down. And then exhale your hands down. Now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to inhale our hands up, and then we're going to hinge forward and bend over our legs. So you might want to widen your feet just slightly to give room for your body to drop down between your legs. If you don't want to drop between the legs, you can pull your legs together and drop over your legs. So it depends on how your back feels. First thing in the morning, our backs are really actually the vertebrae are quite far away from each other because we've been sleeping all night, right? So as the day goes on and we're sitting and we're standing, the weight and compression of our cranium and the force of our body weight and the force of gravity compresses the spine throughout the day. But then when we lay down at night, we are flat on the bed or maybe on our side, but it allows those vertebrae time to start to separate again. And so your spine is rather extended first thing in the morning. However, your musculature doesn't have the fluid in it yet. Your joints don't have the fluid in them. Your muscles aren't warmed up. So you may find it's better to not really deeply extend in any pose first thing in the morning. You might find it's better to limit your range of motion slightly, or a lot, depending on your body type, to honor where your body is at. So you choose the position you want. When we hinge forward at the hips, you can lay down across your thighs and just place your hands on the floor, or you can separate your thighs and allow your torso to fall between your legs. When you hinge forward, though, always lead with the heart, which keeps natural curvature in the spine and prevents you from overextending your lower back. Okay, so inhale your hands up. Exhale your hands out to the sides, hinge at the hips, leading with the heart. Fall forward, place your hands on the floor. The last thing to fall is your head. Inhale up into a flat back. And then exhale, drop your head and your torso again. And then inhale, using your flat spine and the muscles of your back, bring your hands out to the side and back up to the top. Exhale to prayer pose. Bow your head, set an intention for this practice this morning. Inhale. Exhale, hands down, and then inhale your hands up. Exhale, swan dive forward, hinging at the hips, leading with the heart. Hands to the floor, head is the last to drop. Inhale into a flat back. Exhale down. Inhale, hinging at the hips. Rise up. Hands meeting at the top. Exhale down into prayer pose. Inhale. Exhale your hands down, then inhale your hands up. And then exhale, hands out to the side. Swan dive forward, leading with the heart. Hands to the floor, and then let your head drop last. Inhale into a flat back. Exhale down. Inhale, flat back all the way up. Inhale. Hands meet at the top, and then exhale into prayer pose. Ah, what a nice way to start warming up the spine. So now we're going to turn our chair and do 3 motions of sun salutations, but we're going to use our chair as our guide. So I'm placing my chair here perpendicular to the camera, and I'm standing in front of my chair. So you can choose, if you want, to turn your chair the other way if you need the back of your chair for support. Today I am demonstrating ways that we will use the chair for support without holding on to the back. In future classes, I'll show it in other variations. So if you need to turn your chair around so you can hang on to it, you can do that. One variation also might be that you do your sun salutations. If you turn your chair around so that the back is facing you, that you kind of hang on to it. You can lean into it a little bit, although mine wants to tip to do that, so I don't recommend that. But you can stand close to it for support, and you can do your sun salutations this way. And then when you go to fold forward, you can hang on to the chair as you fold forward. And then you can rise up, and then when we go back into downward facing dog, you can just, so you'll have to adjust your feeding if you choose to do it that way. Feeting, I said, not feeding. Okay, my hand's a little sore today. I punctured myself with a cactus when I was on a hike with my son yesterday, an impromptu hike over there in one of the canyons down there at the base of the San Gabriel Mountains. And I'm treating it with antibiotic ointment to prevent infection. And indeed, it is a little sore. You can see it here on the camera. Isn't that crazy? All right, so standing in front of your chair, go ahead and let's find Tadasana. So to find Tadasana, which is mountain standing pose, I want you to bring your shoulders up and then bring them back down. Pull your belly button back into your spine, tilt your tailbone just slightly. Lift up all 10 of your toes. You've got your feet spaced roughly a fist distance apart, okay? And then once you've got your shoulders beautifully stacked over your hips, your belly button is pulled into your spine, your side waist is strong. You've moved your cranium back also to be in alignment with your shoulders and your hips. Then lower down each of your toes, starting with your pinky toes. Imagine your pinky toes are pulling backwards towards your heels to engage those muscles of the lower shins that lead to stability also. We are grounding in this pose, gaining strength from the earth as we create a downward energy into the earth at the same time. So we are growing tall because we have established roots, but we also are grounded because we have established roots. So your energy channel is moving up and down in this pose. And as my son said to me yesterday, the famous Bobby Berteau, who was a beautiful, wonderful teacher for both of my kids and is still teaching yoga today, I believe, she said, if you can't be pushed over in mountain pose, you have a nice, strong mountain pose. And I was impressed. My son showed me his mountain pose yesterday. And indeed, it was a magnificent mountain pose. So bravo, Bobby. Okay, so our hands are facing forward. We're creating extension again by pulling our crown of our head all the way up to the ceiling, right? We're not pulling our shoulders up. Shoulders are back and down, but we're creating space and length from the tailbone all the way to the tip of the head. Inhale our hands up. I'm going to move backwards so I don't hit my chair. Exhale our hands down and out to the side. Swan dive forward, leading with the heart. You can have a bend in your knees. I want you to honor your lower back. The stretch is along the hamstrings, not the lower back in this pose. Inhale into a flat back. Exhale down, dropping your head to the floor. Inhale, reverse your swan dive, flat back all the way up to the top. And then exhale back into prayer pose. Inhale. Exhale your hands down. Inhale your hands up. Exhale, swan dive forward. Hands to the floor. Drop your head last. Inhale into a flat spine. Exhale, down, forward fold. Inhale, hands out to the side, flat back as we reverse that swan dive all the way up to the top. And then exhale, hands into prayer pose. Inhale. Exhale your hands down. Inhale your hands up. Exhale, swan dive forward, hands out to the side, hinging at the hips, leading with the heart, hands to the floor. Crown of the head is last to go. Inhale into a flat spine. Exhale your hands down. Inhale all the way back up with a flat back. And then exhale into prayer pose. So now our next move, we're going to go into a supported downward facing dog. So inhale. Exhale, hands down. Inhale your hands up. And then exhale, place your hands on the chair and then move your feet backwards to create a letter L or even kind of an upside down letter V. Your concentration in your downward facing dog is placing your hands on top of the chair, pushing the chair down and away from you as you pull your hips back and allow your armpits to hollow out. Allow your heart center to shine towards the floor. And let's breathe 3 times in this pose. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, hanging onto the chair, shift your weight forward. Bring your right foot to the center of the mat in front of the chair. You can bring your left foot slightly back and you're on your toes in the back. We are in Anjaneyasana. So using the support of the chair, keeping your hands exactly in the same position, bend your right leg deeply. You might need to move your foot slightly forward to get a nice deep lunge. So as you look in the camera, you can see that my left leg behind me is straight. If it's bent slightly, that's okay. And you can see that I have a beautiful deep bend in my right foot, my right leg rather. And I'm getting a nice stretch all along the back of my, or the front of my left hip. To straighten out your hips, pull your left hip forward as you pull your right hip slightly back. Keep your chest up. If you want to, you can curl backwards slightly. And then on the exhale, adjust your feet slightly so that you can rise up. Bring your left foot to the front. Inhale your hands all the way up. Exhale, swan dive forward. Inhale into a flat spine. Exhale, hands down. Inhale your hands all the way up. And then exhale them into prayer pose. Inhale. Exhale your hands down. Inhale your hands up. Exhale, swan dive forward. Inhale into a flat spine. Exhale down, dropping the head. Place your hands on the chair, inhaling up. And then move back into downward facing dog again. Breathing 3 times. Inhale. Exhale. Remember, in downward facing dog, our hands are flat on the chair, just like they would be on the floor. I've moved backwards as far as I can on my mat. I'm creating either a letter L or kind of a letter V, kind of an open V with my body. My chest is shining down towards the floor. My armpits are hollowed out. My shoulders are pulled away from my ears and down. And I'm getting a great stretch all along the back of my legs. One more inhale. Exhale. On your next inhale, bring your left leg up so that your foot is in between the legs of the chair. Move your right foot back if you need to increase your length of your stance. Push your knee against the chair if you want that support, or you don't have to if you don't want to, because your hands are supporting you on the chair. But in this pose, a deep runner's lunge. We are up on our right toes. Our left leg is deeply bent. We're getting a beautiful stretch along the front of the right hip. Lift up the chest on your inhale. And if you want to, on your exhale, you can curl back just a little bit, creating a micro bend in the back. Pulling your shoulders down and back. Inhale one more time. And then exhale. Bring your right foot forward to join your left foot. You might need to move backwards slightly as we go back into Tadasana and those forward folds of Uttanasana. Inhale your hands all the way up. And then exhale, hands out to the side as you swan dive forward, hinging at the hips, leading with the heart. Allow your head to be the last to drop. Inhale into a flat spine, placing your hands on your shins. Exhale down. Inhale, swan dive, reverse swan dive, all the way up to the top. And then exhale, bring your hands to heart center. Inhale. Exhale your hands down. Inhale your hands out to the sides and up. And then exhale, swan dive forward. Inhale into a flat back. Exhale down. Inhale your back all the way up. And then exhale into prayer pose. Place your hands on the chair. Move back again into downward facing dog. Moving your feet towards the back of the mat as your hands are touching the top of the chair, flat on the chair, just like they would be on the floor. And breathe. Focus on shining your heart center towards the floor and moving your hips backwards. Creating space, protecting the lower back. If you need to bend your legs, do that. In fact, try that. Everybody try that right now. Create a micro bend in your legs. Instead of locking your knees, which transfers the muscle energy to your lower spine, bend them. And when you bend them, you can get even more extension, and you can pull your hip bones back towards the wall behind you. Let's move forward into plank pose. So the way we're going to do that is we're just going to shift our weight forward and be up high on the chair. Okay, you might need to shorten your stance just a little bit. Pull your toes forward, and then what you want to do is widen your collarbone, pull your belly button in, and if you look at me on the camera, there's a straight line from my heels all the way to my shoulders, and I'm pulling my shoulders back, pulling my belly button in, and I'm holding this pose. And isn't this crazy? But I'm working. This is strengthening all the core muscles. And just breathe in and out evenly. And tell yourself that this is a moment in time. Ask yourself, are you freaking out? If you are, you can back out of it slightly. Okay, now we're going to lower down to the chair. So we're going to do chaturanga on the chair, pulling our elbows into the ribs as we lower down. When your chin touches the chair, you're going to pull it forward and up and go into upward facing dog. So we're pulling our hips towards the chair, pulling our shoulders back and down, curling our back slightly at the top. If you want, you can open up the throat. Your toes are still in firm contact with the floor. So inhale, and then exhale. Pull your hips back, pulling your sit bones back. Bend your legs slightly as you move back into downward facing dog. And then breathe evenly 3 more times. Excellent. We're going to do 2 more rounds of that sun salutation. So inhale your hands all the way up to Tadasana. Exhale your hands out to the sides, hinge at the hips as you forward fold into Uttanasana. Hands to the floor, drop your head last. Inhale into a flat spine. Exhale your head down. Inhale all the way back up. And then exhale, find your chair. So I'll move forward to do this so I can show you. Find your chair, place your hands firmly on the chair, move your feet back into downward facing dog. Breathe 1 breath. Exhale. On the inhale, bring your right foot forward in front of the chair and slightly bring your left foot back. Create a deep bend, 90 degrees in the knee if it's available to you. Rise your chest up, pull your shoulders down. You're now in runner's lunge. Exhale, bring your left foot forward. Inhale into a flat spine. Exhale, forward fold down, Uttanasana. Inhale, swan dive, reverse swan dive, all the way up to the top. Exhale your hands into prayer pose. Inhale. Exhale your hands down. Inhale your hands up. Exhale, swan dive forward. Hands to the floor, head is the last to drop. Inhale into a flat spine. Exhale all the way down. Place your hands back on the chair. Move back into downward facing dog. Keep a slight bend in your legs so that you can create space in your spine from your tailbone all the way to the crown of your head. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, bring your left foot forward to the front of your chair, in between the feet of the chair. Bring your right foot back if you need that. Bend deeply in your left leg, creating a nice stretch on the front of the right hip. Pull your shoulders back and down, curl back slightly. Exhale, bring your right foot to join your left foot. Inhale into a flat spine. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale all the way up to the top. Exhale into prayer pose. We're going to do that 1 more time. Inhale. Exhale your hands down. Inhale your hands up. Exhale, swan dive forward, flat back, leading with the heart, hands to the floor, crown next. Inhale into a flat spine. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale all the way back up. And then exhale, place your hands back on your chair. Move back into downward facing dog. Inhale. Exhale, push your sits bones back. Inhale, bring your right foot forward. Widen your stance for your runner's lunge if you need to. Bend your deep leg, your front leg deeply as you curl your spine backwards. Exhale. Move back into downward facing dog. Stretch. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, bring your left foot forward, keeping your right toes near the back of the mat. Bend your left leg deeply, increasing the stretch on the right hip, curl back. Exhale, move your left foot back into downward facing dog. Exhale. Inhale, move forward into that plank pose. Exhale, Chaturanga Dandasana towards the chair. Inhale, scoop your chest up, pulling your hips towards the chair as you move back into upward facing dog. And then exhale back into downward facing dog. Oh. Breathe 3 times. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. One more inhale. Exhale. Inhale, bring your right foot forward. We're going to do a warrior series. Take your left foot and pivot your heel down so that your left foot has a 45-degree angle with the toes pointed forward. Your left foot is facing forward. Your knee is stacked over your ankle on the right side. So rise up, place your hands on your hip bones. So we have our feet in warrior 1 stance. Bring our hands out and in front. Keep your hip bones both pointed forward as you do that. And then on the exhale, I want you to place your hand on the chair, your right hand on the chair, as you open up into warrior 2, which means you do have to adjust your left foot so that it's parallel to the mat on the back of you. Continue to keep that deep bend in your right knee and push your knee slightly into the chair, keeping your hand on the chair for support. Go ahead and bring your left hand out behind you, over your left leg. Push your hips forward, pull your belly button into the spine. Use the muscles of your right hip to pull your right knee towards your buttocks, opening up that hip. Breathing with sound. Inhale. Then on the exhale, I want you to reverse your warrior by placing your left hand on your leg behind you and taking your right hand and pulling it up towards the ceiling. So you're leaning on your left leg and your knee is touching the chair. Probably not getting a ton of support because my chair wants to move. Now, if you have a folding chair, it might not move as much. Reach to the ceiling. And then on the exhale, go ahead and place your hand on the chair again. And we're going to go into side angle pose. So you can see my angle right now is that I'm already there almost. If I want to deepen the pose, I can bend my leg even more. But I'm going to keep this position of the pose. Take my left hand up towards my ear and keep one straight line from my ankle all the way to my wrist, extended side angle. If I want to increase my side angle pose, I can drop my elbow down to the chair. And so you choose the variation that you want. You can be higher up, or you can create a deeper bend in your left leg. Place your elbow, your forearm on the chair, and get your stretch that way. Inhale, reach. Exhale, bring your hand down in a circle along the floor and back up into Warrior Two arms. And then exhale, bring your left hand to the chair, place both hands equally on the chair, and then move back into Downward Facing Dog. And breathe with sound. Now you are going to see my backside because I don't want to change the orientation of the chair. Take your left foot and bring it up to the chair. Swivel your right foot down so that your foot is parallel to the mat behind you. Actually, not parallel. We want a 45-degree angle, I'm sorry. So toes pointed forward and your foot is at a 45-degree angle. You may need to widen your stance slightly so that you can have your hip bones positioned so that they're both facing forward. So you play with your positioning to create that. And then go ahead and rise your hands up for Warrior One. So if you look at the screen, my heel is on the floor, my right toes are pointed forward at an angle, my left knee is deeply bent, my left toes are pointed forward, and both of my hip bones are pointed forward. If you find it difficult to have your arms in the air, you certainly are welcome to have them just stay on your hips or at your waistline. And then on the exhale, place your left hand on the chair. Reorient your feet so that your right foot is parallel to the back of the mat. Your left foot stays in the same position. Your left heel is intersecting, if you were to draw a line, intersecting with the arch of your right foot. Rise up slightly. Keep your hands still on the chair for support. Push your hips forward. Using the muscles of the back of your left hip, pull your knee backwards and engage all those muscles. Pull your shoulders together and back. Take your right hand out to the side and gaze over your right fingertips. Normally in warriors, we're facing the front, but that's the arm that's extended, so we'll just kind of go with that. All right? Right on. Now we're going to go into reverse warrior. So rise up, place your right hand on the leg behind you. Take your left hand up to the ceiling. Bend your left leg deeply. One more breath. And then exhale. Go back into that Warrior Two. And now we're going to go into extended side angle. So you can continue to stay in this position, kind of a lifted up extended side angle. So as you see, there's a continuous line from my ankle to my wrist, and it's kind of a longer line or a line that's not so parallel to the floor as we might think of in this pose, but this is a great stretch still. Or if you want to deepen it, bend your left leg more deeply, place your forearm on the chair, and then reach that way. And the deeper you bend this left hip, the greater the stretch. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale, circle your right hand down back into Warrior Two. Bring your right hand to the chair. Inhale. And then on the exhale, move back into Downward Facing Dog. Breathe 3 times. One more inhale. Exhale. Inhale, bring your right foot forward to the chair. Swivel your left foot so that it's parallel with the back of the mat. And return back to Warrior Two. But now what I want you to do is bring your right foot back. We're going to move into triangle pose. So see, we're already kind of there now. When I straightened out my leg, It brought my left hip backwards towards the wall behind me. Place your hand flat on the chair for support and bring your left hand up to the ceiling. If you want to increase your stretch, you can place your forearm on the chair. Now you'll notice that my body is parallel to the floor, right? And I'm aiming for my hands to be high up to the ceiling, not behind me, but in a line with the back plane of my body. Move your hips forward. Pull your belly button into the spine. So you're moving your hips as I am towards the camera. So just imagine pushing your hips forward. And when you do that, you engage all of those root lock muscles under the pelvis, and you keep your pelvis in alignment. Excellent. Rotate your left shoulder back. One more inhale. And then on the exhale, I want you to take your left hand, place it on the chair behind you. Shorten your stance slightly by pulling your left foot in and turning your toes just as you were in Warrior Two. So you've got your heel pointed backwards and your toes are facing forwards at a 45-degree angle. Keep your left hand on the chair. Take your right hand to your hip. Inhale. On the exhale, rotate your shoulders up, hinging from your belly button. So turning your spine. We're going into revolve triangle. Pull your right hip back as you pull your left hip forward. And then when you feel evolved, go ahead and raise your hand up to the ceiling. If you want to lower down and increase the stretch again, you can put your forearm on the chair and you can rise up that way. Remember pulling your right hip back as you pull your left hip forward, rotating from the center of your core as you pull your right shoulder back, not your arm, but the shoulder itself. Reaching for the ceiling with that arm. Inhale, and then exhale, place your hand back on the chair. Go ahead and rise up, keep your feet in this position. Tense your fingers so that you're kind of like spidering your fingers on the chair. Inhale your shoulders up, your chest up. And then exhale, start to fold forward into pyramid pose. So as you fold forward into pyramid pose, keep a flat back. Keep your chest moving forward and down. Pull your right hip back as you pull your left hip forward. Place your forehead on the chair if that's available to you. So you'll feel quite a stretch all along your hamstring and even your muscles on the back side of the hip here on the right side. You can always back out of this by lifting up slightly if that is too much tension for you. I want you to know your own edges. Inhale. Exhale, pulling your right hip back. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, rise up with your hands. Move back into downward facing dog. Both hands firmly on the seat of the chair. As you move your sits bones back, create a micro bend in your left leg. Now, when we move back into triangle, this next sequence, you're going to see my back side for regular triangle, and you're going to see my front side for revolve triangle. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, bring your left foot forward. Pivot your right foot behind you so that your heel is in contact with the back of the mat and your toes are pointed forward but at an angle. Go ahead and move your hands more to the edge of the chair. Tent it up. And then go ahead and start straightening out your left leg. Place your left hand in the center of the seat of the chair towards the edge of the seat, and then place your right hand on your right hip and revolve your right shoulder backwards, pushing your hips towards the wall. So not towards the wall behind you where your leg is, but the wall that you are facing. So push your hips towards the wall that your body is now facing, pulling your shoulders together on the back. And if you want to increase this slightly, you can then lower down on the chair so that you are parallel. Your body is parallel with the floor. Keep on rotating backwards, lifting up your hand to the sky, pulling your shoulder back, rotating from the center of your core where your belly button is. Also, think of spiraling your inner thigh so that your right knee is facing the ceiling. There's a lot of work going on in this pose. Breathe. One more inhale. And then exhale, place your right hand on the chair. Lighten your stance a little bit and bring your right foot forward. Your toes are still facing the front. We're setting up for revolved triangle. So pull the crown of your head forward. Place your right hand in the center of the chair. Place your left hand on your hip. Pulling your left hip backwards as you pull your right hip forward, go ahead and rotate your chest up. Very good. If you want to increase this stretch, you can place your right hand, your right forearm on the chair, still rotating, pulling your right hip forward as you pull your left hip backwards. Then rise your left hand up to the ceiling, pulling your shoulder back, rotating from the belly, pulling the crown of your head towards the support of the chair, the back support of the chair. And breathing with sound. And then exhale, place your left hand on the chair, rise back up, setting up for pyramid pose. So inhale into a flat back, pulling the crown of your head forward. And then exhale as you're pulling your left hip back and your right hip forward, hinging at the hips, leading with the heart. Place your forehead on the chair. We are now in pyramid pose. If you need to back out of it, feel free to just lift your arms up and lift up the chest of your body. But you can lower your head back down to the chair if that is working for you and providing you with a very nice stretch all along the back of the left hip and down the back leg. So I'm sorry, down the left leg. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. And then exhale, rise back up. Keep your hands in firm contact with the chair as if you're in downward facing dog, and move back into downward facing dog. Inhale. Exhale. One more inhale. Exhale. Go ahead and move forward into plank. Lower down, Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale into upward facing dog. And then exhale back into downward facing dog. Now I'm going to show you a forward fold in the chair. So go ahead and sit back down in your chair. Move to the edge, front edge of your chair. Place your legs out in front of you. This is a little difficult for me because this chair is a little bit tall for me. See how I'm sitting right now? I'm sitting up good and tall. It's like I'm sitting in staff pose, only I'm in a chair, okay? So pull my shoulders back and down, that really, really, really tall. And now I'm gonna forward fold. So my advice to you is keep your hands on the tops of your thighs as you move forward, moving your hip bones backwards. You probably need to micro bend for stability in your legs and just fold forward, pulling your chest forward, creating a nice stretch along the back of your thighs, but laying your torso across your thighs. And then when it feels good, you can kind of relax your torso, curling it over your legs and dropping your head. Just breathing deeply. Inhale, place your hands on your shins and rise up. And then walk your hands back up your legs. I'm going to change the orientation of the chair to face forward so that you can see how we're going to do the next move. Okay, so sit back in your chair. Well, not all the way back, still at the front of your chair. Take your right knee and pull it into your chest. Pull it as tightly as you can into your chest. You'll feel a little pinch on the inside of the right hip, in the hip crease, that's okay. And then exhale, take your right foot, place it over your left knee. So your ankle is over your knee. You're sitting cross-legged, right? Your knee is suspended in space out to the right. Place your right hand underneath that knee to support it. Place your left hand underneath your ankle to support it. You're not pushing them up, you're just providing that support. I want you to inhale your chest up. And then on the exhale, start to lean forward over your leg. We're doing seated pigeon, okay? You should be getting a really intense stretch along your right hip as you move into this pose. Always be pulling forward with the chest instead of attempting to round the back. The goal here is not to lay your body across your leg. The goal here is to increase the stretch. And you do it safely by moving the chest forward, by moving the crown of the head forward. And only when you have achieved extension can you kind of curl down into the leg. But right now I'm not curling into the leg, I'm still moving forward. We must allow the body to open up naturally. So we go slowly in these kinds of stretches. And then just gradually allow your torso to fall. As your fascia release, enabling you to get deeper into the pose. And just take your time getting there. There is no rush. We are in this moment right now. Very lovely. I have managed to get my chin all the way to my leg, just allowing the body to open up on its own slowly. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, plant your left foot firmly on the floor and allow yourself to sit like cross-legged, like a beautiful dainty pose, right? So both of my feet are down by the floor and my right leg is just crossed over my left leg. Place your left hand on the outside of your right leg, so kind of on the outside above the knee. Take your right arm and drape it on the chair behind you in any way that you want to. You can hang on to the chair, you can just rest your forearm on it, and just gently twist, looking at the wall behind you, leading so that your chin is in alignment with your chest first before you turn your head, right? So you're rotating from the center of your core muscles, pulling your shoulders back in unison. Then you may look over. And these seated twists are just so effective even in a chair. Okay, go ahead. Rotate forward. Place your right foot on the floor. Take your left ankle, cross it over your right knee. For me to get the angles the way that I want, I actually have to get up on my tippy toes with my right foot because this chair, like I said, is just a little too tall for me. Okay, supporting your left hand, your left knee with your left hand, supporting your right ankle with your right hand. Inhale the crown of your head all the way up to the ceiling. And then on the exhale, start to fold forward, leading with the chest, leading with the crown of your head. You might find each side of the body is different. That is okay. Just honoring those differences, not exploiting them, not exploiting the side that is more open and stronger, not holding back the side that is weaker and not as flexible. Oops, just dropped my head thing on the floor. Hold on a minute. It always falls out of my right ear. Okay, so just leaning forward, pulling the head, the crown forward, allowing your heart center to be that which guides you into the deepness of this pose. And just take your time to allow the fascia to gently release. Acknowledge the deep tension that you feel in your left hip. If you need to back out, you can. Okay, inhale, gently rise up. Exhale, allow sliding your calf muscle down, allowing your legs to cross. Inhale. Exhale, place your right hand on the outside of your left knee or thigh and bring your left hand behind you, leading with the chin in the center of the chest, pulling your left shoulder behind you. Go into a seated spinal twist. One more inhale. And then exhale, unravel your twist. And now we're going to go into our Shavasana. So you have your options for Shavasana. You can go back, completely seating against the back of the chair like we did at the beginning of the practice. Or if you want to, you can join me on the floor. I'm going to turn my chair again. And I'm going to lay down on the floor. I'm going to move my buttocks close to the chair and place my feet on top of the chair. So right now, my orientation is that my calf muscles are sitting on the seat of the chair. My feet are resting against the back support of the chair. My back is on the floor. And I'm allowing the floor to fully support my torso. So go ahead and start bringing your breathing back to normal. A gentle inhale and exhale through the nostrils. A gentle expansion and contraction of the belly. Turn your hands so that your palms are facing the ceiling. And concentrate on relaxing your whole body. We'll start with the crown of the head, scanning the crown of the head, Releasing any tension from your hair, from your scalp. Allow that sensation like a melting candle to descend down to the back of your head, to the side of your head, to the front of your head, allowing your eyeballs to fall deeply into their sockets. Releasing any tension in the face. Allowing your jaw to be slightly open, pulling your tongue away from the roof of your mouth and relaxing your jaw. Widening your collarbones, allowing your shoulders to fall back against the back of the chair or onto the floor. Relaxing your ribs so that they can pull against the back of the chair down to the floor, and relaxing all of your core muscles. Releasing any tension from your hips as you allow them to sink more deeply into the chair or more deeply into the floor. Relaxing your thigh muscles and your kneecaps. And when you arrive at your shins, releasing all muscle tension, your shins, your calves, and your ankles. Finally, allowing your feet to fully relax, allowing your body to feel weightless in space. We will hold this Shavasana for 5 minutes, and I will bring you back in with the bell. I invite you to come back. If you're laying on the floor, please roll over to one side or the other, curling into a ball, taking a moment to acclimate. If you're sitting up, start to wiggle your fingers and your toes. And then when you are all ready, we will meet together in sitting position. If you manage to keep your Shavasana through the barking dog, I applaud you. I think that is amazing. Let's inhale our hands up. Exhale our hands down. Inhale our hands up. Exhale our hands down. Inhale our hands up. Exhale our hands to our forehead, in between our eyebrows. And then back to our heart center. Bow our heads. Thank you for spending this time with me today, doing morning chair yoga for Mondays. May this provide for you a beautiful start to your week. I wish you wellness. I wish you peace. I wish you a week filled with santosha, or contentment. The light in me sees the light in you. The yogi in me joins with the yogi in you. Namaste. Goodbye.